For the 70th anniversary of the APBA Game Company, I thought it would be kind of fun to do a one-off APBA Journal. Of course, the APBA Journal ceased publication in 2002 when Francis Rose purchased it. And 10 years after that, Bob Tassinari purchased the journal, all its archives, from Francis Rose. So I shot Bob a note, asked if he'd be cool with us doing this little one-off publication exclusively for the folks who are going down to Alpharetta. And Bob, of course, was as cool as he always is, and he said, go for it. And so you have volume 36, issue 1 of the APBA Journal. Now, I had wanted to pay for the printing, but of course Mr. Herson would not hear of that. And I got to tell you, his printers came out perfectly. I mean, these flags, all these elements, the furniture, except for that was a PDF. That's the 70th anniversary card back and logo. But these flags, all throughout the edition here, and logos, all screenshotted. Pretty cool. The resolution I'm quite happy with. But I'm a newspaper guy, design guy, magazine guy. So I reached out very quickly, as I like to do, get an idea, go for the idea, get the idea done, as opposed to have a meeting about having a meeting to see if you need a meeting about it. So everyone jumped on board, as you know, everyone will. Don Provisero, Hall of Famer. Roy Langens, the great, wonderfully talked about all the covers, some of the meaningful covers, more important covers, so we whipped that little layout up. Of course, Randy Corey, who runs the APBA newsletter, I just said, hey, would you write something? And of course, everyone hit all the notes that I wanted to hit. The regional tournaments. Of course, that's Mr. Pete Simonelli and former APBA Journal editor and publisher Eric Naftali at the Las Vegas tournament of Chris White. Of course, I had to sneak the football in. I'm going to sneak the football in. Just not satisfied with not doing that. So we had Greg and Ray and a little bit of Barrett. I asked people, of course, who first and foremost had some deeper connection to the journal, people who'd written for the journal, and also wanted to reach out to folks who could speak to all the changes that have occurred in the past 20 years since the last APBA Journal. So we have Bob Tassinari talking about how he purchased the journal and had to digitize all those old issues. Kevin Clough wrote about how family we are in the APBA world, for the most part. And Bill Blair and Roy Langens and Pete and Kevin. Kevin, of course, the Between the Lines forum moderator. Tom Nell Shopping, of course, I had to get him in there. I didn't realize that he and I had actually hit Facebook about the same time in 2011. He started his blog in 2009. Made sure to feature the monster card, terrible card, weird card. Little about this issue down here on page 13. Did a little community resources page to update folks on, the Zach Handbook, the podcasts that are out there. Mentioned Bobby Porter, the National Card Football League and the American Card Football League, a little sneaky in there. The custom envelopes of Chris White and Howie Mooney, the dice boxes of Michigan and Trumbull. Instagram, we're on Instagram, just letting you know. Minnesota APBA blog. Bo Lofgren, Jim Frosch's APBA bar came around 2015-16. Ken Hurd, Love Life and APBA Baseball. And did I get John in here? Yes, I did. John Storer. Tried to keep the jumps to a minimum. With Kevin Clough's piece, grabbed a little letter to the editor he had in, I think, the 94 edition, little classified advertising. I mean, I live for this stuff, and kind of that's what I used to get paid for, is putting out publications, which I guess I still do. But some of the logos, pulled some of those out. Daryl Hollis, Lynn on Leagues, all the APBA loans, the APBA Land, Inventors Forum. Pete Simonelli, one of the godfathers of the APBA Football Club, came in the last minute with a great piece. Siloed cards and everything. It was just tailor-made for a great layout. Hold-a-page piece. Perfect. And I tucked in a front-page mention of some other cards that he'd had signed by former pro athletes. Ran the program of the first APBA convention, which Len Gatos had passed along when I interviewed him. God, all those interviews that I've done and since taken down, but will repost somehow or make available somehow. updating what the Alpharetta headquarters looks like. John Herson passed along these great photos, and they came out great, I must say. Of course, I again screenshotted a bunch of the most important flags. I've done so many anniversary editions. I mean, it's just the requisite thing. It's something you just have to do in every publication. The year-ender, the dread year-ender, but in this case, it was absolutely fun every step of the way. And juggled a few pages here and there, but there's just some of the more. This covers the bulk of the flag designs and iterations over the years. Whacked in a little APBA Journal brochure there. I had done a Q&A for Rich Prey, who took over for Jack Cohn, the card father, the original card father. Again, another interview. I interviewed him in, I think, 2013. All these interviews, I think I'll do a little book on that, but I generally don't like to do Q&As. They're kind of, kind of a dump. Dump the notebook kind of a thing. But the one Q&A, of course, we really had to feature was by John Cochran. I asked him to do the Robert Henry piece as a Q&A because Bob Henry was the Q&A editor, and it's always a great story, and I will actually hope to have them tell the story, John and Pete and Rebecca Peterson, of how the community came together to provide a headstone for Robert Henry when he passed, and folks weren't quite sure where he'd gone in the community. In any case, so this was printed up for the 70th anniversary convention, the annual 2021 convention. It was a nice little surprise. I made sure to update the flag here to locate everyone in Alpharetta. Okay, and going forward, this should be available on the USB drives that Bob Tassinari sells on eBay, as well as the reference packs he sells on eBay. So now even more incentive to grab the one-off 70th anniversary APBA Journal. We may make it available digitally at some point. We've got a lot of other projects going on right now, and as I say, we kind of kept it under wraps to make it a something special for the folks going down to Georgia. And but it will be digitally available on the USB drives that Bob Tassinari sells. And if anyone has questions about the editorial choices or anything like that, please email me at appafootballcluboriginal@gmail.com, and I will be happy to answer any of your questions about what was put in and what wasn't put in and why and all that. Again, I asked a lot of folks who'd already written for the journal and or are in positions of really needing to be in there. Greg Wells and Ray Dunlap obviously were APBA football writers for the journal. Kevin Clough and Randy Corrier need to be in here because they're running the current official APBA media, and Tom Nelshoppen obviously needs to be in here because he's the direct replacement for the APBA Journal essentially, and then those of us who came after help fill out the whole APBA media perspective there. So anyway, I hope everyone there in Georgia enjoyed that, and do grab the USB drives from Bob Tassinari. Doesn't matter if you play Strato or any game. It's just a cool purchase to get a sense. As I said in my other APBA Journal video overview, looking through some issues through the decades, publishing from 1967 to 2002. It's just an incredible document to have in your possession digitally, and a lot of great material in there. It gives you a sense of the history of the company, evolution of the game, the PC game, all that good stuff. So there you go.